having me today. It's an honor and a blessing to be speaking to you guys today. So today I'm just going to be sharing my testimony, the trials, the joys, the heartbreaks, and the lessons that come through everyday life. So when I was born to two loving parents, Dion and Tim Van Tile. And I have 4 siblings, of which I am the youngest. When I was 6 years old, I got saved to the show Bible Man. Has anyone ever seen Bible Man? Well, you guys are probably too young. But Bible Man was basically a man who had everything. And he felt lost, and then he found Jesus Christ. And transformed into Bible Man, had a mask, a cape, and everything. And he would fight off like the gossip queen and the demons of Satan. And one day, Bible Man took off his mask, and he's like, "Hey kids," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Bible Man took off his mask." And he was like, "Here's how you trust in Jesus as your Savior." And I was like, "That's so cool." So I went to my mom's room, and I was like, "Hey, can I trust in Jesus as my Savior?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I remember going into my room, and we had a one-on call. That I prayed the prayer, and I knew what it was all about, and everything, but I didn't go on further until I was like 16. So that happened, and my dad was a youth pastor at our church, and he also had a desk job and was a teacher, so he had a lot of jobs. My mom, on the other hand, was a stay-at-home mom and homeschooled us. And the special thing about me is I have a short form of cerebral palsy, if any of you guys know what that is. In my case, is I have a slight speech impediment, and my balance is pretty off, and I have bad hand-eye coordination. I didn't know I had this until I was 11. I was truly blessed to not know it for 11 years. That's just how great my family was. And so, yeah, I kind of walk or talk until I was 3, but that besides the point, my life was almost perfect for the first 12 years of my life. Until me and my parents sat me and my siblings down one afternoon, and they said we had to leave the church. That my dad was a youth pastor at. And since we were homeschooled, the church was more than a church, like all our friends were there. And so when my parents told us that, I remember it broke all of our siblings' hearts. Me and my brother, I remember going to the other room and just crying because we didn't want our parents to see us so emotional. So that was pretty rough. And then a few months later, my parents sat us down again, and they told us that they were going to divorce because of my dad resigning and everything. And I was 12 at the time, so I was like, it's okay. I was like, 2 sets of parents, it's alright. I didn't know the toll it would take on me as I would get older. But so, since they were getting divorced, my parents had to homeschool me, and my mom could no longer homeschool me, so she public schooled me, and I was excited. But with my condition, they didn't know where I was at, and so they put me in basically remedial classes. So at the start of middle school, I began public school in these classes, and by the end of 6th grade, they're like, "What's this kid doing in these classes? This kid's awesome, you know?" So they put me in regular classes. But besides that point, I got made fun of because I was different, because of my speech impediment and how I run. It's kind of funny, I ran like a duck because I have bad balance issues. So in the middle of 7th grade, I had trained myself to run straight. But that was the first time I got mad at God. I was just like, why? Like, why give me this? Why can't I be normal like the rest of my family and the rest of this world? Like, why can't I be so-called normal? So I wrestled with that, and I was pretty mad at God about that. But then in 7th grade, my dad got remarried to my stepmom, and again at the time, I didn't really think of anything of it, but over time, I grew bitter and resentment towards my dad. That summer, I went to work at a Bible camp called Word of Life. My brother went to college. That was a camp and a college. So I went there to serve, and I would do that, continue into college. So with my dad getting married, everyone was out of the house besides me and my sister. So my mom's house was kind of like a safe place where me and my sister could be ourselves and not feel like we were judged. 8th grade came, went to the camp again to serve, and then freshman year hit. Freshman year was good. I had a heart condition in freshman year. It was called supraventricular tachycardia. What it was basically my heart was beating too fast for like me to do anything. When my heart would have an episode, you could see the skin pumping and everything. I thought that was kind of cool. Although people were grossed out, they were like, ugh. But on a serious note, I was again pissed at God. I was like, why are you giving me these things? This heart condition, cerebral palsy, speech impairment, and I just couldn't see the light. And then I just didn't know what to do because I couldn't do sports. I did football and track, and I loved those things probably more than anything in the world at the time. And it was like God wanted me to live, but not to enjoy life. So it was one of those things where you couldn't diagnose it until it was actually happening. So I got hooked up to a hormone bottle, and it went off one day, and my doctor called my dad, and he said, "Hey, is your kid still standing?" And he goes, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "Your son's heartbeat is going to 280 to 290 beats per minute." And I was like, "I bet I'm Superman." I was like, I can do anything. But no, in reality, it's too much blood for oxygen to get to the brain. But honestly, when it would happen, I felt like I was gonna die. But freshman year, summer freshman year, we got it taken care of and everything. I had surgery on it. And then the middle of freshman year, my stepdad moved into my mom's house. And that was a big shock for me and my sister because our safe place was kind of gone. You know, I didn't feel like I could be myself anymore, especially at home. And then sophomore year came, and my sister left off for college, and all my other siblings were gone. So I felt alone, to be honest. But that year I found my friend group. So that year I just hung out with friends, went to work, and went to school and everything. And then since my home life was really rough, my coping mechanism was to work out. You know, I just stay in shape and everything. And then junior year I hurt my back, and I was like, my coping mechanism is gone. I don't have it anymore. So junior year I decided to do what most kids do, is I was fed up with life and everything. I started to get involved in drugs and alcohol. And it worked, to be honest. My coping mechanism was working for about 6 months. After that, I got tired of it. I had this gaping hole in my heart. and I just couldn't find out why. So senior year, I decided to make a change for the better. I went back to church, and with that was just a lot of pain, like I didn't feel like God would take me back with all the bitterness and resentment I had towards my parents and towards God, and all the trauma I've experienced of the running away. I know it sounds stupid, but why would God want a kid with a speech impediment? I don't know, but he opened me up with open arms, and that was good, even though it had a lot of pain for it. And senior year was especially difficult because I joined an auto tech program, and it was just really hard in the beginning because I didn't really know anything. But as the auto tech program progressed, I progressed and got better at it. So it was good. It was good for me, and that was the year I first started to grow, and my faith was my own and not my parents or anyone's. So after senior year, I went to college. The camp I would go, Water of Life Bible Institute. I went there to kind of find myself and clear my head and deal with all the stuff that happened at home. I didn't really go there for the degree, to be honest. Again, I just went there to find myself. So, fall semester happened, and it was good. I made some good friends and everything. And then second semester happened, and COVID hit in the middle of second semester, and I was like, God, what the heck? Like, my life is going good for once, and then you have to ruin it with this plague, epidemic, whatever you want to call it. So I was ready to quit school and everything, but I went to a family and friend's house in Michigan during the initial break, and they were like, "Nah, you can't quit." And so I decided to stay with it. And then after the summer, I decided to move to Michigan to that house that let me stay. They were kind enough to let me stay. And I got a job as a mechanic at Firestone, as a mechanic, and that was my dream, or so I thought. So I was working there for a few months. I hated it. Life I kind of didn't like because I thought God wanted me to be a mechanic, and I thought God wanted me to get away from Missouri, from all the temptations and everything in my environment. But I was wrong. If you're on God's plans don't line up, someone's gonna be wrong. It's not gonna be God. It's gonna be you. So I was working the job. I was kind of getting the hang of it, kind of not liking it, and then something at the house happened, and they weren't happy with me. So I had the decision to keep living there, where I hated being at work, hated life, or I got up and left. So I told them, hey, I was like, thanks for having me, and I'm sorry about this, I'm leaving. And that was so weird. That was probably one of the most chaotic times in my life. I was basically being forced to leave. And I didn't know if I had somewhere to stay, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. But I had a feeling that God was gonna make everything okay. I haven't had this feeling in 8 or 7 years. And newsflash, he did. My parents welcome me back, even though I didn't think they would. I did couch hop for a few weeks, just at my friend's house and everything. And then, and then I went home. But since all this happened, I was going back to school, the school called Water of Life Bible Institute, for my second year. I just skipped a semester because I didn't want to go back with all the COVID restrictions. And so I went back, and there was a lot of healing involved, a lot of learning and everything. And then that summer, I worked at the camp, and then I finished the year out and graduated in summer. I graduated in the fall. But the real question is, why am I guys telling you guys all this? I'm telling you guys all this because all of our pain has a purpose. I have a unique purpose, and so do you guys. Let me guys get your attention. Has any one of you almost died? Okay, you. Yeah.
What do you want them to share?
Yeah.
Okay. You share as much as you feel comfortable.
Okay, well there was this one time when I was like super, like extremely upset, and I was, because like my stepdad did something, so I was like super upset, so I like locked myself in my room and like almost, yeah.
I'm sorry about that. Do you want to share now?
There was one time I was at home fighting with my mom and my brother, and my mom was hurting me, and so I got up and I grabbed a knife, and that could turn out really bad. It didn't, I got hurt, but it could have.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Thank you guys for sharing. But I remember one time, me and my friends were tubing on a river in Spoon Lake in New York. And I remember asking my buddy, I was like, hey, do we want to get life jackets? And he's like, man, that's not fun. So it rained. It rained like the week before, so the water level was super high. And so we were having a good time. It was our day off and everything. And I remember the water got real shaky, real wavy. Like I was getting air. It was awesome, man. And then I remember seeing this tree that had fallen in the water. So what the tree did, grabbed my tube and flipped me over and bruised my chest pretty hard. And I was just in the water, and I was like, dang. I was like, I'm in trouble. And so I remember trying to swim to the right side, but the current wouldn't let me, it was too strong. And then I swam to the left side, and I began to go under, and I'm like, I think I might die. And so I didn't. I went to shore. I was hyperventilating. I was in shock. And then my friend Dan came over to me. He's like, dang, God must have a plan for you because you should be dead. And I was, he was right, because
This was the same guy who said don't wear the life jackets?
no, that was it.
Oh, okay.
The guy who said don't wear life jackets, but he's actually my best friend, so I have my best interest in her, you know. But, as a side note, everyone got injured. It wasn't just me. I got injured the most, but, I'm sorry. So anyway, back on topic. Yeah, he said that, and I realized I do have a purpose, you know. There's a lot of close calls with life I've had, and I shouldn't be here right now. So I was wrestling with that, and I realized for 20 years that God didn't give me these, didn't give me a speech impediment, didn't give me cerebral palsy, didn't give me a heart condition, didn't give me broken parents just to mess with me. He gave them to me so I could get valuable lessons from them, from the trials and the obstacles, and maybe I can share them with some other people. That all reminds me of a verse, Jeremiah 29:11-12. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And then you will call unto me and come and pray to me and seek me. When you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. That just gives me comfort, because there's no such thing as like, everything happens for a reason. So I encourage you guys, if any of you are scared about life or just the future in general, that God has a purpose for you. There could be times where God is testing you in that moment, and you can decide what to do. You can either live for yourself or you can live for God, and that's kind of the beauty about life. You can decide what to do, but I encourage you guys to not give up in hard times, to see it through, and I recommend doing the hard thing in life, hard and right thing, because I promise in the end you won't regret it. But bottom line is, God does have a purpose for you,